Hello student, very good morning to all of you. I hope you all are happy, healthy and fine at home. Do you remember what were we discussing yesterday? I think yesterday we were discussing about the basics of carbohydrate. In that basics of carbohydrate we have learned what are the reactions of glucose, means oxidation reaction by using as a different reagent, how when they are treated with glucose, what type of the product they will provide or they are providing. So that type of the discussion we have discussed yesterday. Today what we are going to learn, today we are going to discuss about the reduction reaction. Now as we know that carbohydrates are the polyhydroxyaldehyde or the ketones. On hydrolysis produces the unit is known as carbohydrates, and polyhydroxy and the glucose, and mainly two carbohydrates are mainly abundance in nature in a combined state as well as in a free state. One is a pentose and another one is a glucose, and specifically we are focusing our attention toward the hexose, means glucose, and that glucose containing generally these carbohydrates are represented according to as a Fischer projection formula. So today we are going to learn about the reduction reaction, reduction reactions. Reduction, as we know that reduction reactions, that is the point of discussion today. Reduction reaction, and in terms of the organic chemistry we are defining oxidation and the reduction. Generally oxidation means in term of the organic chemistry, loss of electron is called as oxidation, and gain of electron is termed as what we can call it as reduction. But here reduction, it is generally here related to as a hydrogen atom, when removal of hydrogen atom is termed as oxidation, whereas addition of hydrogen is termed as reduction reaction. So today we are discussing reduction reactions. So here, as we know that aldehyde that glucose containing the aldehyde group, as we know that, right? And let us see here, first one, the reduction, the aldehyde and the ketone group of monosaccharide. And we know that the classification of the carbohydrates, and mainly classification of the carbohydrates are broadly divided into as a three type. Number one is called as a monosaccharide, number second is called as a oligosaccharide, number three is called as a polysaccharide. And monosaccharide are the single sugar unit, it does not further reduce. So for example, glucose, fructose, pentose, these are the example of monosaccharide. And the oligosaccharide further divided into as a three types. One is called as a disaccharide. The name itself suggests that di means two monosaccharides are present, then second one is a trisaccharide, and so on, or third maybe as a tetrasaccharide. These are the subtype or the sub classification of oligosaccharide, and the last one is a polysaccharide. Poly means many or the different monosaccharide together we can call it as a polysaccharide, and these are the classification, but mainly we are talking here the reduction reaction of the monosaccharide and specifically for glucose, as we know that. And the common name of the glucose is the common name of that aldose, and the IUPAC name of that glucose is a aldohexose, right? Aldohexose. And that monosaccharide glucose and fructose may be reduced chemically with H2 in presence of Na means Raney-Nickell, H2 hydrogen in presence of the nickel, or sodium in presence of ethanol, or maybe sodium borohydride to yield the corresponding sugar alcohol. For example, glucose and fructose both on reducing with H2 in presence of nickel, or sodium in presence of ethanol, or sodium borohydride in presence of ether gives sorbitol. So that is a general reduction reaction. So there are the various reducing reagent. Specifically here we are going to use the three reducing reagent, which is H2 in presence of nickel, another one sodium in presence of ethanol, and third one that is a sodium borohydride, which is a mild reducing reagent. These are the different reducing reagent, particularly or the specifically here H2 in presence of nickel, sodium in presence of ethanol, and the sodium borohydride, these are employed in ether. So these are the reducing reagent, what they will do. And as we know that the structure of glucose is in short, while writing as a reaction of the glucose, we are writing as a simply as a CHO-OH, that is a secondary alcohol. There are 4 hydroxyl group, secondary hydroxyl groups are present, and then CH2OH primary. So this is a general way of representing this alcohol, this glucose molecule. This is, we know that it is a glucose molecule. When it is treated with, you can use either H2 in presence of nickel, or you can use a sodium in presence of ethanol, or you can use as a sodium borohydride. The name of this NaBH4 is a sodium borohydride. All these three are the reducing reagent. What they will do here, only as a aldehyde group is present in the glucose, and that aldehyde group is going to convert into as a corresponding primary alcohol. On reducing the alcohol, general we know that general formula of aldehyde we know that RCHO, and this CHO when it is treated with H2 in presence of nickel or NaBH4 or sodium in presence of C2H5OH ethanol, sometimes it is written as ETOH, or sometimes it is written as CS3CH2OH, or sometimes it is only as a ethanol. It means that the sodium in presence of this, they are producing as a H2 molecule over here, hydrogen molecule, molecular hydrogen, and that is responsible for reduction of the aldehyde group. Generally what it will do, it will reduce, and just now I already told you that the aldehyde group is converted into as a primary alcohol. So this is a general reaction takes place with these three different reducing reagents. If you observe this reaction, if you look this glucose molecule carefully, what do you see over here? There is only one aldehyde group, and which is going to convert into CH2OH, then CHOH, it is a 4 time, and then CH2OH. The resulting compound obtained, the product formed here is known as sorbitol. The compound form is a sorbitol. This is the alcohol, primary alcohol. This is also as a primary alcohol, and this derivative or this product is known as sorbitol. And as we know that now I am showing this arrow is a backward arrow, this one is a forward arrow. Forward arrow indicate that this react to give this product sorbitol, and now this is going to give this react to give this one. So which one I am talking about? It is a glucose and fructose. As we know that glucose and fructose, they are the isomers of each other. Isomer means what? Having the same molecular formula but a different structure. That type of the thing is known as isomer, and that phenomenon is known as isomerism. And now as we know that the structure of fructose, this glucose containing as a aldehyde group, whereas fructose containing the ketonic group over here, then CHOH 3 time here, remember 3 time, and then CH2OH, right? This is a structure of fructose. This is a structure of fructose. OSE indicate as a sugar unit, glucose containing as aldehyde group, whereas fructose containing as a ketonic group. Look at here, at carbon number 2 there is a carbonyl groups are present, and therefore it is known as a fructose. And we know that the method of preparation of this glucose, we can obtain the glucose and fructose from sucrose. Sucrose is a disaccharide. When that sucrose is treated with ethanol, prolonged ethanol in during the cooling, the fructose for 2 hours, and there is a mixture of formation of glucose and fructose, and glucose and fructose, they are separated by adding the ethanol during cooling. Glucose is crystal out first, and then just ordinary filtration. Filtration is a technique which can separate solid from liquid, and therefore in this way we can easily obtain glucose and fructose in a just by filtration method, just by ordinary filtration method. And now this compound, when it treated with the same reducing reagent, H2 in presence of nickel, second one is a sodium in presence of ethanol, or NaBH4 in presence of ether. These are the reducing reagent. What they will do, they will convert this carbonyl group into the alcoholic group, and therefore CHOH remains, that becomes here 3, so total becomes as a 4 here, and that CH2OH, and this CH2OH primary, that is a sorbitol. Sorbitol means OL indicate as a all are the hydroxy group present over there, and this is also as a one of the what we can call it as a carbon. And now most important reaction we are going to learn over here, that is the oxazone formation, that is the action of phenylhydrazine. It is one of the best reaction how the oxazone derivatives are obtained or derived, that the point we are discussing over here, reaction, that is oxazone, formation of oxazone, or what we can call it as a oxazone formation, oxazone formation, or we can call it action of phenylhydrazine, action of phenylhydrazine, action of phenylhydrazine, or what we can call it as a epimers. You might be knowing that epimers means what? Everything is the same, only at one chiral center there is a absolute configuration is a change, so that type of the isomer is known as a epimers. For example, glucose and D-mannose are epimers of each other. So let us see first of all epimers. Let suppose we are writing here the general structure of glucose, CHOH, as we know that they 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then CH2OH. This is a general way of writing as a glucose according to as a Fischer projection formula, and OH, this OH, 2OH on the right hand side, hydrogen, third one on left hand side, again fourth one on the right hand side. And as we know that here, we know that this is a, if you look at here, lowest chiral carbon atom in the glucose molecule. If you see over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are there, right? And how we can give DL configuration, we already learned that D and L are the relative configuration, and that relative configuration is designated or assigned on the basis of the hydroxyl group which is present, the hydroxyl group, or what we can call it as the hydroxyl group present on the lowest chiral carbon atom on the right hand side, then and then we can designate as a L configuration. Look at here, this is a lowest chiral carbon atom, and the molecule, the glucose molecule is represented or shown according to as a Fischer projection formula. And look at here, this is the fifth one. There are 4 chiral centers, 1, 2, 3 and 4 chiral center, OH on the right hand side, and therefore it is designated as D configuration, or it is assigned as a D plus glucose, right? This is there. Now 4 chiral carbon atom, if you trying to find out the R and S configuration, R and S, it is they are known as the absolute configuration, and that absolute configuration is assigned according to as a sequence rule, or we know that CIP rule, that is a Kahn, Ingold, Prelog. These are the 3 scientists. They have formulated one formula, that is one rule is they have formulated one rule that is known as a sequence rule. Sequence rule means what? The priority group are arranged around the chiral center is known as a sequence rule, and there are the 5 sub rules are there. Number one is depending upon the atomic number. Number 2, next atom. Number 3, double bond or triple bond, and number 4th one is isotopes. So these are the 4. By knowing that rules, we can give the 4 priority. But as far as what we can call it as a carbohydrate, it comes naturally occurring carbohydrate, they are belonging to as a D series. When the D series are there, and one more remember, in a shortcut trick you remember here, when the hydroxy group are on the right hand side, what I am telling, when the OH group on the right hand side, then that carbohydrate must have R configuration, remember, if OH on the right hand side, then you can give by just remember, this is the thumb up rule, general rule. And suppose the hydroxy group are present on the left hand side, then that configuration must be as a S configuration. If OH on the left hand side, then you can call it as a S configuration. That is a general rule you should remember while assigning that one. Now let us see over here. Suppose here, look at this one is a R configuration, this one also has R, this one is a S, and this one is again as a R configuration. R, S, R and S configuration. So that's the general rule. If you give the priority number, why I am giving as a R configuration here, as we know that this is a chiral center, because it containing as, if there are the chiral center, that compound is optically, this glucose is optically active in nature, and it shows as a optical rotation is near about 52.7 degree, that is optical rotation observed for glucose. And now here let us see here, first one, it has a first priority, not first priority, carbon and oxygen, carbon and hydrogen. So here according to as a first rule, atomic number of that oxygen atom is greater than all other hydrogen and carbon, therefore it will get first priority. This carbon atom and this carbon atom now go for the next atom. So there are carbon oxygen double bond, again go for the double bond rule, third rule you apply, so it will get as a second priority. This will be the then fourth one is there, 1 2 3. If you see the rotation is a anti-clockwise manner, right? The rotation is a anti-clockwise manner or counterclockwise manner, that designated as a yes. But look at the fourth priority, if it is present horizontally, that configuration should be changed or must be changed into another, that is R configuration. That's why I am showing here is R. So similarly here it will get as a yes. So that is the rule, generally we know that. Now we are talking about the epimers. What do you mean by the epimer? This is a glucose, and if you remember as a structure of mannose, the structure of mannose is this one, CHO, again 1 2 3 and 4. Here we can write CH2 and OH, right? CH2OH. Now here OH, 2 OH are on the right hand side and 2 OH are on the left hand side, and I am placing on the right hand side is a hydrogen atom. So this is the structure of D-mannose. This is the structure of D-mannose. If you see here, this is a structure of D-mannose. If you compare between these two, Suppose OH on the right hand side, therefore it is a D. But what kind of the absolute configuration at this chiral center? Find out the absolute configuration of each chiral center. Carbon number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you see here 5, now what kind of the configuration it has? We know that the general, the OH group on the right hand side, you can say it is a R configuration. Here also as a R, but here is a S configuration and here is again as R. Look at, sorry, not here is a S. Look at secondary, first chiral carbon atom or at carbon number 2. Look at here, here in a glucose, it has a R configuration, but in a mannose, there is a S configuration, and rest of the thing, look at here, 3 chiral center, they are having same same absolute configuration. S or R, no change. Only at one chiral carbon there is a change in absolute configuration. This type of the isomer is known as a special name is given to that, is known as a epimer. Understood the meaning of epimer? What do you mean by the epimers? Look at here, why I am writing as a epimer, and best example, D-glucose and D-mannose are epimers of each other. Now let us move on to the next point which we are discussing. What is that? That the discussion of that point we are discussing over here. Now the oxazone formation. Now let us look at, this is an action of phenylhydrazine, and as we know that phenylhydrazine, it is one of the ammonia derivative. In a TYBSc, or even though in your first year in a MSc, you might have learned the ammonia derivative. There are 5 ammonia derivatives are known. One is called as a when ammonia, we know that the structure of ammonia, and one of the hydrogen atom get replaced by any group, like say suppose as a Z, or we can call it as any G. Suppose as a that one of the hydrogen atom, if you replace by OH, it is known as a hydroxylamine. Suppose it is replaced by NH2, then it is known as a hydrazine. Suppose it is replaced by NHPH, it is known as a phenylhydrazine. Suppose it is replaced by C double bond O, NH2, then it is known as a semicarbazine. If it is replaced by NH, then benzene ring, and at 2 and 4 position there is a nitro group, then it is called as a 2,4 DNP or 2,4 dinitro phenylhydrazine. These are the 5 derivatives. Among that 5, one is a phenylhydrazine, and that phenyl, the speciality of these derivatives, phenylhydrazine, these are the reagent when they are react with carbonyl carbon at an optimum pH reaction carried out and produce the product, and that products are very what we can call it as a products are very susceptible to form as a phenylhydrazone. Let us look at here glucose, because we are talking about the glucose, C double bond O H. I am writing for the what we can call it as a point to see the clear oxazone derivative. What does it mean, how it is formed? That's why I am writing over here CHOH, and now CHOH, there are 4 times secondary alcohol, and then CHOH, that is a primary alcohol. When it is treated with phenylhydrazine H2N, then NHPH, what is happening here? The addition elimination reaction takes place. If you remember as a general reaction of that aldehyde with the ammonia derivatives like as phenylhydrazine, this is a PH, this is called as a phenylhydrazine. First one, there is addition of that, here R, then CH, I am writing like this, OH, then NH, NH, and the pH over there, right? And now this is addition reaction. First step is addition reaction, and the second step there is a elimination of this, elimination of water molecule here minus H2O. Elimination reaction takes place, and we are getting RCH, double bond NH, and the pH. Like this, there is a carbon nitrogen double bond is formed, means derivatives is formed over there. So that type of the thing is called as a here hydrazone derivative. Whatever the product obtained, that product is known as phenylhydrazone. This is the phenylhydrazone derivative general. And now here I am writing directly over here. So what kind of the product do you get over here? Like this one oxygen from here and two hydrogen from here. Remember, the simplest way to represent one oxygen from here and two hydrogen from elimination of the water molecule. So first moles, so here minus H2O take place, and what you are going to get, this hydrogen atom C double bond N, then NH, and this pH, right? And now here CH OH I am writing still there, CHOH, there are three, and now is a CH2OH, right? This type of the compound is obtained. That compound is known as what is the compound which we got over here is a glucose phenylhydrazone. This is known as a glucose phenylhydrazone. Phenylhydrazone. This is the compound we got over here. Now we are using second phenylhydrazone. Second phenylhydrazine H2N, NH, then pH. This is a second where the oxidation takes place now. Now how the oxidation takes place? One of the hydrogen atom from here, another hydrogen atom over here, that oxidize, and you are going to get here HC double bond NH, and this pH. In the second carbon atom, that secondary alcohol get converted into as a carbonyl group, and this is a 3, and then CH2OH. The compound which we got over here, there is evolution of NH3 ammonia as well as aniline is evolved during this process. During the oxidation, what is happening? One H from here and NH2 from here, ammonia is evolved, and one H goes over there, aniline is evolved during this process, and that oxidation takes place, and whenever this product is formed, that product is known as a glucozone. This is known as a glucozone. Glucozone. This is the product we got, and this product further treated with phenylhydrazine H2N, then NHPH, that is the third molecule. Look at here, one molecule which can form as a hydrazone derivative. Second molecule used to oxidize the secondary alcohol into as a carboxylic group, and third one again used to consume here. We are getting as a derivative H, then C double bond NH, and this pH, another one C double bond NH and pH, and another one CHOH. This is a 4 time, and this will be the CH2OH, and the compound which is got over here, here is a CH3, not the CH3. Remember, make the correction over here. This CHOH secondary alcohols are 3 times, and this derivative obtained is called as oxazone. zone derivative. Remember, in this way, so question may appear here, how many moles of phenylhydrazine is required or consumed during the formation of oxazone derivative. So that question may arise over here or may appear in exam. So remember, there are 3 molecules of phenylhydrazone consumed or required to form an oxazone derivative. It is what we can call it as an important one as per as a exam point of view is concerned. So how we are getting this one, that we have seen an aldehyde or aldoses react with phenylhydrazine to form phenylhydrazone. If an excess of phenylhydrazine is used, the reaction proceed further to yield products known as oxazone, which contain 2 phenylhydrazine residues per molecules. A third molecule of the reagent is turned into aniline and ammonia, and just how the OH group is oxidized is not quite clear, but the reaction which we got over here is the same. So remember here, 3 moles of phenylhydrazine is required for oxazone formation, and similarly D-fructose forms the same oxazone. If instead of that glucose, if you take as a fructose, you will get the same reaction with that fructose. Similar reaction shown by that fructose, as we know that that reaction oxazone we will get as in the same way or in the same manner. So that you should remember over here. Suppose let us see the structure of fructose is a CH2OH, then at C double bond O, then CHOH 3 times, and then CH2OH. This is a structure of fructose, right? This is a structure of fructose. When it is treated with H2N NHPH, what it gives? It gives CH2OH, then C double bond NH, and this pH, then rest of the thing CHOH, there is a 4 times, and then CH2OH. And when it is further treated with H2N NH and pH, oxidation reaction takes place here. First one, there is a elimination of water molecule, and further we are getting over here this now is a primary alcohol get oxidized over here, C double bond O H, then C double bond N, then what we here NH, then pH, then there will be CHOH. Remember here not the 4, here is a 3, make the correction here, CHOH 3, then CH2OH, that we are getting. Now again is aldehyde, so treat with pH NH, then NH2, same reaction, third molecule is consumed over there and we are going to get here H, C double bond N, NH, and this pH. Similarly C double bond N, then NH, pH, and here CHOH 4 times, and then CH2OH. This is nothing but the oxazone derivative. There is a oxazone derivative is obtained, and in addition to this there is a formation of ammonia as well as aniline. NH to anilines are generated over there, and we are getting as a hexazone as one of the derivative. And then next one is maybe as a fermentation. Everybody knows that fermentation, it is one of the process, glucose on fermentation in presence of enzyme yeast, that is a yeast. The specific name of that yeast is a zymase, and gives ethyl alcohol with evolution of carbon dioxide. So that is the reaction is obtained, that is called as a fermentation over here. Now let us see the fermentation. It is one of the best method for the synthesis of ethyl alcohol. Fermentation, as we know that. Fermentation, if you, as we know that the molecular formula of glucose is a C6H12O6. This is a glucose, and from glucose, when it is treated with that yeast, name of that yeast is a zymase. This is a specific zymase, and what you are going to get? You are going to get C2H5OH, that is a ethyl alcohol, and in addition to that, there is a evolution of carbon dioxide takes place. So these are the reaction generally takes place over, and in the next time we are going to learn about the what we can call it as a synthesis of carbohydrate. What are the method used for the synthesis of the carbohydrate, that we will see next time. I think let us stop today here. Have a nice day. Thank you.